me talk for a really long time.
Okay. Okay, so my story is on the cheating dentist. His name is Glenn Woolcipher. And when he was in high school, he met a girl named Elizabeth, but she went by Betty. He played football, baseball. She was on drill team. They end up getting married.
Oh, he was. I was like, what'd they do?
Because they were high school sweethearts. And after high school, Betty majored in sociology, and Glenn got an undergraduate in biology at the University of Scranton.
Oh, PA, the Electric City.
They moved to Washington, D.C., so Glenn could finish dental school at Georgetown University. And Betty worked a couple of jobs working for Blue Cross and Xerox. Once he finished dental school, Glenn is who we're talking about.
Oh.
They ended up moving to Wilkes Barre, which is just southwest of Scranton, just to give you an idea.
Oh, good. I was wondering.
And they had a daughter named Danielle. Betty decided to not work so she could stay home with Danielle. Mm-hmm. And people thought of them as the all-American family.
They sound like it.
Yeah, they were very close. Betty's mother loved Glenn, and Glenn's brother would play golf with Betty's brother.
Aw.
Yeah, and they were really well known around town, which was a small industrial town.
Why'd you yell at me when you said industrial?
Sorry. But there's not much crime there. There had been a string of burglaries that happened in the Woolcipher's neighborhood, but that's about it.
Okay.
August 30th, 1986. Police respond to a call to their house, and they find Glenn on the ground going in and out of consciousness. Once he's able to, he tells police that he woke up because he heard a loud noise at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he saw someone run down the stairs. So Glenn grabs his gun, chases after the intruder, but that person ends up sneaking up behind him and chokes him with a belt.
Oh my God.
That's what he tells police.
Waking up to someone like running around in your house has to be one of the scariest
Oh,
things
that'd be freaky.
ever.
Yeah.
And I just found out that I have something called exploding head syndrome.
That's right.
If you don't know what it is, you should look it up, and I bet a lot of you have it. As I'm falling asleep at night, I will hear an extremely loud noise. Most of the time it sounds like a door slamming shut or pots and pans falling, dishes breaking. The other night, what made me Google it, it scared the shit out of me. It was something I had never heard before. It sounded like a laser, almost.
Pew!
Yeah, like something mechanical. And it made me jump up, which they always do. I jump up and I tell you I think someone's broken into the house. You tell me the dogs would be barking if there was. I got a baseball bat. I get up and I walk around. And there's never anything happening.
No.
But it happens to me probably once every 2 months. Well, that's called exploding head syndrome, and it's a sleep disorder.
Yeah.
And it's super normal. Like, it happens to a lot of people. You should look it up. I'm sorry to interject. I just wanted to talk about how scary it would be to wake up and see someone running in your house.
Yeah.
So he's getting choked out with a belt, and then he passes out?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the last thing he remembers. If they were running down the stairs and he was following them, how did they get behind him to choke him with a belt?
You know, maybe they went down the stairs first, so maybe they were hiding around the corner or something like that.
Got it. I was trying to find holes in his story.
He also remembers coming to a little bit while he's kind of going in and out of consciousness. Mm-hmm. And as he's telling the police, he remembers, I called my brother Neil, who lived across the street. Mm-hmm. And Neil came over, and he was the one that calls the police.
What year did this happen?
1986.
Hold on. So he's choked out with a belt.
Uh-huh.
Which we're going to assume it was a blood choke. So he's out for several minutes, let's say, at the most.
Yeah, he's going in and out of consciousness.
But he's conscious enough to get up and find a landline, dial a number, and tell his brother to call 911 before he then passes out again?
Yeah, he also had been hit in the head. He's had a contusion on his head as well.
Okay. I don't know. That sounds sketchy.
Yeah. So Neil had called the police, his brother, and when police get there, they go into the master bedroom. They find Betty dead on the floor.
Oh, no.
With her face bruised and strangulation marks on her neck. Their 5-year-old daughter, Danielle, was unharmed and in her bed. Glenn said that the intruder had dark hair and eyebrows, but had some sort of translucent mask on, so he couldn't identify race or who it was or anything like that. I don't know what that would even look like. I just keep picturing one of those masks that people are wearing now at the grocery stores.
No, I'm thinking it's one of those masks that have, like, It's translucent, but it has like the red lips and like the
I know
or
you're
like a
talking about.
mustache and like eyebrows.
It's like a hard mask.
Yeah, it's like a Halloween
Yeah.
type mask.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
That's what like a stereotypical.
Like a hockey mask that's clear, kind of.
Yeah, but
Old
it has
school.
like the weird eyebrow. Am I describing something that's real?
Yeah, I think you're describing something very specific.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
This isn't like some fever dream I had.
No.
Oh, good. Okay.
There was a ladder found leaned against the window, against the outside of the house. And so police figured the intruder came in through the window on the second floor.
Okay.
I found some conflicting stories. One said that there was $1,300 stolen from a desk, along with some jewelry, but I also saw that nothing was stolen from the house.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to tell what's going on there. Glenn was taken to the hospital and sedated, but he was kept overnight. He had, like I said, a contusion on the back of his head, but other than that, he was okay. This is such a small town with no crime. They wanted this solved very quickly.
Right.
So the police chief, he assigned 15 investigators to the case.
Wow, that's a lot for a tiny town.
Yeah. The local and state police worked together. The FBI even helped with examining evidence.
Wow.
And the DA worked with them. Glenn told police that he had been out with friends at the Cracker Box Palace nightclub.
The nightclub's called the Cracker Box?
Yes.
I will never, ever be caught dead in a nightclub called the Cracker Box. A lot of white people in there.
Well, he went home at about 2:30 in the morning and went right to bed and slept until he woke up to the intruder. Just 4 days after the murder, Glenn got a lawyer who advised him to not talk to the police. So he quit talking to police after that. Well, apparently there were some rumors that Glenn had a couple of girlfriends. And while visiting with Betty's family after the murder, he admitted to these rumors. He had a couple girlfriends. One was Glenn's dental assistant, Debbie Shipp, and the other was his aerobics instructor.
Who has that kind of time?
I don't know. But her name was Carol Kupicki.
You have a wife and 2 girlfriends and a 5-year-old?
Oh, and he had 3 different dental practices.
What?
Yeah.
I can barely manage you.
But Carol, she was also married. After he admitted to these affairs, people quit siding with him. People were feeling really bad for him and everything, but now they're kind of turning away from him.
Which sucks if he wasn't the one that did it. I mean, just because he's an adulterer doesn't mean he's a murderer.
Right, absolutely. Well, a local source leaked some info to the media, and they said that the window screen on the second floor was damaged from the inside, not the outside.
Oh, not looking good, Glenn.
No. There was also a veteran police officer. He was asked about this, and he'd said he'd investigated hundreds of burglaries. Mm-hmm. None of them involved a ladder.
Yeah. I've never really thought about that, but...
No.
Did the burglar bring the ladder with them?
Right.
And then you would have a shit ton of fingerprints on that fucker going up that ladder.
The only other case that I can think of that involved a ladder was the Lindbergh baby.
I was just about to say that.
Well, this investigator, or this veteran police officer, said that burglars will feel trapped if they use a ladder. They feel like they could get trapped real easily.
Yeah.
So they would rather kick in a door than have to use a ladder to get into someplace.
Yeah, or if he was going to go through a window, why wouldn't you try one on the first floor?
Right.
Unless you knew they kept the second floor unlocked, let's say.
Right.
And then you'd have to bring that ladder with you, and then you left it?
Unless you found it outside the house.
Glenn.
Yeah. Also, the coroner thought it was weird that Betty didn't have any blood on her face or nightgown because of the extent of her injuries, because she looked so bad.
I thought that she was just strangled.
She was strangled, but her face was bruised also.
Oh, like she had been beaten?
Yeah. They don't go into details of exactly what it looked like, but the coroner said that he was surprised there wasn't blood anywhere.
Huh.
So there must have been, he would have thought a nosebleed or something like that.
I gotcha.
And apparently the injuries were so bad that Betty's family ended up having to give her a closed casket.
Oh, no.
Now, Glenn, he did have strangulation marks on the back of his neck, but in his story, he was choked from behind with a belt.
Yeah.
So marks would be on the front of his neck, not the back.
Fucking Glenn.
Then one of Glenn's girlfriends, Debbie, started talking to the police.
Mm-hmm.
She said that they had started seeing each other in 1981, and then Glenn talked about leaving his wife for her. Well, later on, Debbie found out that Glenn was also having an affair with Carol, who he met at aerobics. And police found receipts from the Red Roof Inn showing that Glenn
Classy.
he had met up with these women separately at that same
Only
hotel.
the best for Glenn's girls.
Well, he's going to Cracker Box Palace Club. I mean,
I can't with him.
During the affairs, Carol, the second girlfriend, she ended up divorcing her husband, and Glenn stopped seeing the first girlfriend so he could be with Carol.
Fucking messy.
Very much so. When police were investigating the scene of the murder, all this investigation goes on for a long time.
Okay.
But when the police were investigating the scene, they noticed Glenn's car didn't have any dew on it. But it was parked right next to Betty's, who was covered in dew.
Yeah, but he said he got still, in between 2:30 and 6 a.m.
Well,
that's when it would happen.
the police had spoke with the meteorologist, and they had come to the conclusion that his car had to have been moved between 2:30 and when the police arrived.
Yeah.
So I guess weather people know when dew would start falling and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think dew happens like right before the sun comes up, or am I making that up?
I don't know. I'm not a weatherman.
Well, I am, and I'm telling you, that's when it happens.
You've got a lot of occupations.
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Also, they thought it was weird that there were no footprints in the dew from the intruder.
How the hell did Glenn put that ladder there then? He lowered it down? Or he put it up
I don't know.
before? Okay, the footprints in the dew from the burglar, that doesn't mean a lot to me. Because let's say that he got there before the dew fell, went up, and then he went out the front door and stayed on the pavement on his way out.
Yeah.
So that's not that big of a deal to me.
No. Me either.
Throw that one out.
They also noticed that there were no indentions under the ladder.
So no weight was on it?
Right. And the ladder was actually leaned against the house backwards.
Oh my god.
So technically you could still climb it, but it'd be very hard.
Glenn.
All of this led the FBI to believe the scene was staged. But there are more strange things.
Okay.
Neither Glenn or Neil, his brother that came to help him, went to go check on Betty or the daughter before the police showed up.
Neil's in on it.
Maybe. Neil had no answer when he was questioned about this. He just cried and shook. That was it. Neil refused to take a polygraph, but had set up a meeting with the DA and promised to give more information about what he saw that night. On his way to the appointment with the DA, Neil was in an accident. It was either a dump truck or a cement truck, and he was killed instantly. Yeah.
What?
The driver of the truck said Neil swerved into him, and the coroner declared it a suicide.
Neil was in on it.
Yeah. Sometime after Neil died, his widow, Nancy, started to see Glenn until she found out that he was still seeing Carol.
What the fuck?
Yeah, totally fucked. Yeah.
What is it about? Okay, so Glenn is like Pete Davidson.
Okay.
Bitches are flocking.
Yeah.
Even though he goes to the damn Cracker Box and takes his girls to the Red Roof Inn, they still want to see him.
I guess so.
The widow Nancy is coming for Glenn?
He had a mustache, and he was described as a young Tom Selleck.
Well, sign me
by
up.
people.
Gross. I don't like any of that.
During the investigation, police find out that Betty knew about Glenn's cheating and wanted out of the marriage. And during this time, the lab was examining evidence that was found under Betty's fingernails. And it was blue fibers that most likely matched the denim outfit that Glenn was wearing that night at the nightclub.
Oh my god. He was wearing a denim outfit?
Apparently.
Oh god. I don't like it.
Yeah. Police had also found hair with the roots attached in the bed, which wouldn't necessarily be a strange thing, but since there was a murder involved...
Right.
Hair pulled out with the roots still attached is fairly significant. Well, those hairs go back to Glenn.
Yeah, but it was his bed.
Right, but like I said, you add in that there's a murder now.
Right. I don't know. Scratch that one from the record.
Okay.
That and the footprints in the dew. I don't like it.
Well, the footprints in the dew, Glenn could have put the ladder up there before dew fell.
Right, but it doesn't also prove that someone who broke in would have left footprints in the dew.
Yeah, because they could have got... Well, they went in at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
You don't know that. You don't know that. They could have gone in at 1 a.m. while Glenn was gone and waited.
Yeah, until 6.
They could have gone in at 3